Hi guys, I'm a Forester here with a fountain pen showdown that's been requested numerous times on different fountain pen videos that I've made in the past. I set my sight on the two pens that I'm going to show you here in a second when I first began my fountain pen journey. Now here they are in the pocket, and both of these are brands that are recognizable by the logos on the caps, even if they're in the shirt pocket. The snow-capped logo is my Montblanc 149, and you can't see it quite as well, I guess, but the pelican feeding the chick is the Pelikan M1000. Now both of these are iconic pens. I'll give you a better look at them inside at the desktop, but they're both iconic pens that I've reviewed when I first bought them. Both of these pens will remain in my collection until I hand them down to my daughter or grandchildren after I'm gone. Now, I like them both, but the simple question for this video is which of these pens is my favorite? Which pen do I reach for the most often? They're both very special pens in their own right, but they do have unique differences. Let's go inside and take a closer look, and I'll rate them on 8 different aspects. Now the first factor that I'll rate is appearance, and I think both of these pens are very attractive. Both have traditional conservative designs. The 149 I'll start with, it's a black cigar-shaped pen that's common among many other fountain pens. Here it is with my Platinum 3776. And you can tell that they're very similar. It's just a common design. Now the M1000, I think, is more unique looking. One feature is this flat piston cap, gives it a unique look. Also the green pinstriped body, I think, is a very unique look that these Pelikan pens have. And also the Pelikan beak clip. I would give the appearance factor overall to the Pelikan M1000. Now the second attribute that I'll rate is size, and by that I mean how they fit in my hand. They may fit in your hand differently, but there's a difference in how these two pens fit in my hand. Both pens are plenty long enough, so length is not a factor, but the subtle difference in shape makes a difference in how I write with them. Now the 149, and I'll hold these side by side. I think that's the best way to show it. But the 149 has a shorter, thicker section right here than the M1000, which has longer and narrower sections. So I'll hold these up to the camera and hopefully you can see that. Also, a difference is that the 149 seems to have a wider barrel. It seems to get wider. Let me do it this way. Along the length, wider right in this section right here, whereas the M1000 hold its diameter the whole way down. It's more cylindrical. Now it could just be my imagination, but I write much better with this 149, and I think it's because of how that wider section holds the pen at a slightly different angle. The advantage to me on size goes to the 149. Alright, so the third attribute that I'm going to rate are the nibs of these two pens. Both pens have gold nibs, and I'll get them up in the light to where maybe you can see them a little bit better. So they both have gold nibs, but they vary in the purity of the gold. So the 149, which is here on the left, has a 14 karat gold nib, and it's a fine nib, while the M1000 has an 18 karat gold fine nib. So both of these are fine nibs. 14 karat gold, by the way, is 58% gold, while 18 karat is 75% gold. The main difference is in durability and luster. So 14 karat is harder and more durable, while 18 karat is softer and has more luster. So I don't know if you can see a difference in luster using my camera, but this one over here, the M1000, supposedly has more luster. The shape of the nibs also differ, as you can see. I'll try to rotate them for you. So they have a slightly different shape. Like I say, both are fine. But the nib plays a major role in writing enjoyment. And of these two pens, I prefer the Montblanc nib. Okay, the fourth criteria that I'll rate for these two pens is the ink filling system. Both of these pens employ a piston filling system, and I'll hold them up side by side so you can see them both. Both have piston knobs down here that are basically undetectable by sight or feel. So I'll give you a different view, and I don't think you're going to be able to see where they separate, and I won't operate them because I've just filled up both pens with ink and I don't want to make a mess. Both of these pens, the piston filling system, work well mechanically. The Montblanc seems to have more extension though when I operate it, and it seems to take up more ink than the Pelikan. I haven't verified that though. I will say that the Pelikan is a wetter writer, and it seems to not take up as much ink, and it seems to run out of ink sooner than the Montblanc. So for that reason, and that reason alone, I prefer the Montblanc's ink filling system. Now, cost is the fifth rating that I'll give both of these pens, and cost is very important when you're talking about Grail pens. There is a difference though that I need to say. I purchased this Montblanc 149 used from Truffet in Greenville, South Carolina, while I purchased this Pelikan brand new from Appleboom online. And the cost for these two pens was identical at $600 each. So I don't give a preference for one or the other based on cost. Now, the sixth rating is based on quality of the materials and workmanship. And both pens are made of similar materials. They're made of precious resin, gold nibs, and metal trim. The quality of workmanship is outstanding for both pens, and I expect both to last a lifetime, maybe two. Neither pen has an advantage here. All right, stick with me. We're getting close to the end, but number 7 is packaging. Now, packaging is a minor thing in comparison to the other ratings that I've given these pens, but for a pen in this price range, I expect quality packaging. Now, the Montblanc came in a hardshell case with a nice bed to rest in, and overall it makes for a nice presentation. It didn't have any extras though, although remember I did buy this used. Now the Pelikan, on the other hand, came in a nice cardboard box, I would call it. It has a magnetic lid. It opens up to show the inside of the case. It has a white faux leather pen slip as well as a polishing cloth. Now I haven't used those extras that came with the Pelikan, and the case by itself is nicer for the Montblanc. But I'm going to call this even. One has a nicer case, the other had some nice extras. Now the 8th attribute that I want to rate these two pens on is the writing experience. And this is the most important category to me. It's where the rubber meets the road. The writing experience is the sum total of all the attributes that I just rated. So I'm going to give you a writing sample, and bear with me because writing around this camera is very difficult to do. But I'm just going to use the standard, the Quick Brown Fox statement. This is the Montblanc 149 first. And remember, this is a fine nib. So next is the Pelikan M1000. It feels very different to me, as I mentioned. And let's see how I write with it. Same sentence. Fine nib also here. All right, you can hear a little more noise or feedback with the Pelikan, I believe, than with the Montblanc. But it doesn't bother me. It's a good noise, good sound. So based on the ratings that I've given both of these pens, the Pelikan was preferred on one thing, appearance. Now the Montblanc was rated higher on 3 factors: how it fit in my hand, the nib, and the ink filling system. They were rated the same on cost, quality, and packaging. But I will say the overall writing experience and the pen that I choose the most often of these two is the Montblanc 149. The primary reason that I choose it is that the writing experience is noticeably better with the 149. I think it's a combination of the nib and the subtle writing angle of this pen in my hand. Both of these pens are keepers though, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. I finally got it out for those of you that requested it. Y'all take care.